Alteryx Weekly Challenge number 287 is a fun one because it deals with spatial analytics, which is my favorite. So the data set we received is from Find My Pet US, which is a platform that helps animal owners find their lost pets in animal shelters. So a data analyst hired by the company is researching a couple various scenarios. One of the scenarios includes the following situation. So we need to find pet owners who are offering a reward equal and over $2,700 and pet owners living within 500 miles from the shelter of where the pet is located. And so the data set, pet info, contains all of the information about where the animal shelter is located and any information about the pet that was entered into this animal shelter. We also have animal ID, which is an important thing to keep in mind. Animal rewards shows the amount of the pet reward that the owner is offering, and the owner info contains all of the information about where the owner's home is located, where the owner lives, and it also contains the animal ID. So the very first step in answering these two questions, I know that I will need at least two of these data sets to answer either of the portions of this question. And so just to make a master data set, I am going to combine these three data sets together. But before I do that, I'm going to add one more variable. So this create point tool uses the latitude and longitude from the data set, and the output will give us a new centroid or a point on a map. And so this is super useful, especially when we're calculating the distance between 2 points. So I'm going to do the same thing for owner info. I'm going to use latitude and longitude to create a new centroid. And then I'm going to join the three data sets together based on animal ID. One thing that I did within this join tool was I highlighted all of the inputs from input 1. And under options, you can click on add suffix to field names. And I just added in shelter just so I know which data set these variables are coming from, because it can get confusing, especially with variables that are labeled the same thing. So we have lat long. I don't want to have to remember lat long is from the shelter data set, and this lat long 2 is from the home data set. I'm just going to make it clear. I'm going to highlight all of the variables from input 3, add a suffix to home because I know that's where the pet's home is located, and that is the information about who owns each of these pets. So for the first portion, pet owners who are offering a reward equal and over $2,700. So this question is pretty straightforward. I know that I have the pet reward column. One thing about this column is that it does contain dollar signs, and Alteryx doesn't like dollar signs. So I'm going to use the regex tool. Just use a backslash and the dollar sign, and that will remove any dollar signs from this new pet rewards column. The next thing I'm going to do is the output of this regex ends up being a string. And so I'm just going to use the select tool and change the variable type to make it a double so that Alteryx actually reads that variable as a number within our workflow. The next thing, I can use the filter tool, just set new pet rewards greater than or equal to 2,700. And lastly, I can summarize based on owner first name, owner last name, the city, and the state. And so these 19 records are owners who are offering $2,700 or more if someone finds their pet. The second portion of this question, we need to find pet owners living within 500 miles from where the shelter is located. And so I'm going to use this distance tool. And this tool is under spatial analytics. It tells us how far our two centroids are from each other. And so using our join tool, we know we have the centroid of the shelter, we have the centroid of the home, where the home is located. And so I'm just going to use this find distance tool to find the distance between where the shelter and the home is located. I'm going to output in miles, since that's what the question asked. And then we can use the formula tool. So anytime distance is less than 500 miles, it will set that as true. So anytime distance is not less than 500 miles or null, it will output as false. So we'll get rid of those. And there are 13 records whose owners are located within 500 miles of where their pet is located at the shelter. I'm going to join these two together because both conditions have to be true. And the output gives us 5 records. And I'm just going to select the 4 columns that are listed in the solution output. So we have owner first name, owner last name, city and state. Those are the 4 columns I'm going to output within my join tool. I get these 5 results. So I don't have to go back and spot check each one of these, just so it's quick and easy. I'm going to take the output, I'm going to join it back to the solution output, and it looks like all 5 records match back.